thinking about all the different ways that we can so often be spiritually blind to our situation and be very disconnected from the world around us. We often want to see ourselves as the Lazarus in that story, but more often than not, we respond to situations in life like the rich man that is very disconnected and unconcerned or just apathetic toward the needs, both physically and spiritually, of people that are in our lives. I wanted us to think deeply about what does it mean to be spiritually blind. Look at those passages that Greg was speaking about in Isaiah. Because in Isaiah 6, yes, we see that the prophet Isaiah, he was essentially the pastor back then. He was commanded to go out and speak to a people that wasn't going to listen to him, wasn't going to hear him, wasn't going to see the words of God himself. He's given the most unfruitful ministry advice. Imagine someone trying to plant a church and the core demographic is people that will not respond whatsoever to your message. But before that even happens, Isaiah is confronted with God himself. He has seen the Lord sitting on a throne, high and lifted up. He has angels around him praising his name continually. And if we were to go to John 12:41, we would see that this is Jesus himself sitting on the throne here. That this is the pre-incarnate Son of God in all of his glory confronting Isaiah. And how does Isaiah respond? He says in verse 5, "Woe is me, for I am ruined, because I am a man of unclean lips, and live among a people of unclean lips." And we can see two things here. We can see the fact that Isaiah puts his own sin before the sin of other people. He needs to fix his own heart before he even begins to think about going and speaking to Israel. But secondly, what does it mean for Isaiah to call himself a man of unclean lips? Look later on, you can actually see in chapter 29, these are words that Jesus would quote in the Gospels to the Pharisees, so you might actually know these words. But the Lord said to the people of Israel, in chapter 29, "These people approach me with their speeches, to honor me with lip service." In the ESV, it says they honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me, and human rules direct their worship of me. And in my opinion, this is the very condemnation that Isaiah is bringing upon himself. That he is a religious hypocrite that has been condemning Israel for the past 5 chapters and is confronted with Jesus and realizes that his heart is still far from him. Today, you yourself might be realizing the fact of your spiritual blindness, that you know that you have never turned to God in hope of resurrection life. You've never given over your whole life, that he has offered abundance of life through his son Jesus Christ, and you have never responded to that. You don't care about the needs, the spiritual needs of others, because you have never cared about them yourself. But the hope we have today is that even Isaiah, the pastor of Israel, can realize that he has lived in hypocrisy for so long, that he can actually, the very next verse is an angel cleansing his tongue and sending him out to the people that won't listen to him. And that is the hope we have, is that no matter what situation you're in today, that you might even be aware of your hypocrisy. And yet God gives us resurrection life still, through his son Jesus Christ, that we can actually have our hearts transformed, where we turn to him in hope, and that our response is no longer like the rich man, where we're disconnected from other people, but that we can actually go to those around us with both their physical needs and all the needs that they find through God's Son, Jesus Christ.